Nasdaq is the world's second largest stock exchange, a leader not only in technology but supporting technology companies and using its technology to communicate. Kelsey Murray is Nasdaq's global head of social media and helps mission-driven brands and executives build authentic relationships with their audiences. Kelsey, welcome. What are Nasdaq's priorities for communicating on your social media platforms, and who do you aim to engage?
Great question. I think there's two ways in that's really important. So we have an organic social media strategy and a paid social media strategy. Also, Nasdaq, while it's very well known for being a U.S. equities exchange, we are also a global tech leader. So we have about 9 other business units outside of the exchange that we have to focus on and make sure that all of those audiences are being accounted for and that content and campaigns are launching for them as well. So on a daily basis, we're launching or running around 50 paid social campaigns for our listed clients as well as for ourselves across all business units. And those audiences can range from C-level executives to retail or institutional investors. When it comes to listing specifically, when a company goes public on Nasdaq, we really focus on thought leadership. So the audience we're going after, especially in organic social, is retail investors, institutional investors. We're telling the story of that company who's going public to a general investor. We want them to know about the company and find a reason to want to invest. And also we call it a company's big wedding day. You know, it's all this planning that goes into it. And then it's a very big celebration for them. It's a very pivotal moment in their company history. So a lot of the content is really a shedding light on their brand and on their journey up until this point and beyond. So that's what I would say is like our main focus on a day-to-day basis, especially with the unprecedented amount of companies going public this year.
Wow, that is incredible. So what guidance do you give to companies who are listed on Nasdaq about sharing content on social media, and what are the biggest regulatory hurdles that you keep in mind when communicating on Nasdaq's social media?
So from a marketing perspective, there are multiple streams. There's a creative team, there's a social team, PR, events, because a lot of these are all bespoke events that are being created from scratch. So when you first start working with the client, there's sort of a larger marketing kickoff call where we sort of align with our counterparts on the listed company's side of the fence. We get to know who exactly we'll be working with, and we'll be helping guide them on, what's worked well for other companies, what maybe is a new way of going into your social media strategy based on what your objectives are, who your audience is. Every company is so different and they're going after such different audiences that they have to keep in mind their current, target audience, their geolocation, what they're trying to get across to their potential investor. There's so many things to think about. When it comes to NASDAQ social channels, we really focus on thought leadership. We want to put a huge spotlight on the C-suite executives and their story of how they got to where they are. But also, this is a huge day for employees because a lot of that company's success was based on all the hard work that the employees have put in, countless hours, countless years. And so it's also like a really big celebration, especially during COVID, online. So what's really cool about NASDAQ specifically is employees have the opportunity to upload photos of themselves onto our tower in Times Square. Then the photo is taken and it's fed back into their phones, into an app. And then they can post a photo of themselves in Times Square on social media, which is pretty substantial. And if you think about a company with thousands of employees, that's thousands of posts. It's the opportunity to go viral or get massive reach on a very exciting wedding day, such as IPO day. So when it comes to the company social channels, we really, we always defer that they work with their legal team on final approvals for everything to hit your regulatory question. But when it comes to, when it comes down to it, the end of the day, we're all about storytelling about the brand, storytelling about the people who work for the brand and why they chose NASDAQ as their exchange leader. And, how, especially when you're thinking about these companies who have Instagrammable moments like Vita Coco just went public, Rent the Runway went public on Wednesday. They're really bringing their huge brands to our podium and making it special, special for themselves. Rent the Runway created an entire flower installation that was all in their brand color. So it was very, very on par for what they were, what that objective is for that day. So between the photos and the boomerangs and all the different social media channels we had to amplify their message, we were able to, really drive a lot of reach around that moment for them.
Do you believe social media should be regulated by the government, companies, or users?
Everyone has a responsibility out of the group that you just mentioned. Governments, technology companies, the people who use social media, everyone has a responsibility to use it the right way, to use it responsibly, to be sharing and knowing that anything that you do share or publish or amplify is, fact checked or really in line with your company's mission and goals and objectives. Because I can tell you that the social media team is the last line of defense between a brand and the media coverage. So mistakes happen but very rarely, especially at Nasdaq. I came up through the media world, and so even then, you think about it, media companies have social media teams, and so they have to be very cognizant of what they're putting out into the world. So I would say everyone has a responsibility. It's a shared responsibility, and it's something that should be not taken lightly. Every single day, if you're posting on social, anything you post is being seen by a mass amount of people, and it holds a lot of weight. And so I don't take that lightly. It's, and I feel very honored that I get to have a job like the one I do. So I really do think it's a shared responsibility.